Hey, where's Bobby? Have you seen Bobby? Huh? Oh, here I. This here. I just got back not too long ago from the annual picnic of the Guilford County Republican Party here in Greensboro, and had a guy doing free character paintings. And I have to tell you, I give him a 10 out of 10 for the hair. Most of the other face did good. Got the little chest hair there and the collared shirt. Really good. The glasses, though, a little on the big side, but still, though, he did a pretty good job. I'll give him an 8.9 out of 10. So, yeah, the chairman of the party, Troy Lawson, said, "Why don't you get your caricature done?" It's like, does it cost any money? He's like, oh, no, it's free. It's like, whoa, I got to do this. Eventually, I'll hang it up on my very blank wall in the background. Some of you that have watched this channel since we started nearly 5 years ago in February, and I'll be doing a special video about that in February next year, 2019, looking back on 5 years as the conservative Pelican, all our trials, tribulations, and triumphs. But anyway, if you've watched the channel, you've noticed at the beginning that, I had a really happening background, had yellow wall, and had a picture of Buck Showalter with, the Orioles are back in contention. Some other Ravens and a bunch of other things that just remind me of me. Of course, now the Orioles are, 108, 109 losses, new franchise record, one of the worst teams in the history of the game. And 2 years ago, they were in the playoffs. And, of course, Buck, he picked the wrong relief pitcher. And okay, shh. Okay, I'll stop now. You want to know about what's been happening with the Guilford County Republican Party, and I'm going to give it to you. So, first I'm going to talk a little about what happened today, and then at our meeting, which was about 2.5 weeks ago now, something like that. And, if you watch another of my recent videos, you know that I've been dealing with the cold, and I worked 8 days straight because of Hurricane Florence, which here in Greensboro, we just got a little bit of rain and wind and bleh. But I'm thankful I have a job. Thank you, God. Thanks. So, talking about today, what happened here across the state of North Carolina, and I think it was a national day of action, a lot of other states here in America, National Day of Action. And that's where anybody can come out to their local GOP headquarters or wherever your county party decides to meet. Here in Guilford, we have a headquarters, and it's awesome. It's right off of I-73. So my drive over there is like one of the easiest 10, 12-minute drives I've ever done. It's, you make about 2 turns, and within, 90 seconds of my house here, you're on I-73 doing 75 miles an hour. So, but yeah, I'm still single, but I don't let that bother me. I went out to the National Day of Action here in Guilford County, and I had a good time. I will say that. Now, I have a little bit of reservation in my voice because there was a candidate for office that I really wanted to help out. And I told this candidate that I wanted to help him out. And I said I would do it at least once, maybe twice before the election in November. And I told this candidate that it's pretty hard for me to get off Saturdays, but I'll try to at least get off one Saturday. And this Saturday coincided with the picnic. And I was like, okay, I'm going to help this candidate knock on doors for them. Okay. So I get to the GOP headquarters, the time that I got, and they did a Facebook invite thing, okay? Said 10 o'clock. Now, I was running a few minutes late, but it's Saturday morning, give me a break. I was there about 10:05, 10:10. Didn't see this candidate. I was really hoping to help him out because they're a very good candidate, very articulate, very good on the issues. And I even told them that too. And very good. And they were not there. And I RSVP'd that I wanted to help door knock, and nothing. But there's a good leader there named Selena, and she put me to work. And I did about 3 hours worth of making phone calls for the Ted Budd campaign, and helping him out in his race. And he's a very, very good, quality conservative congressman. His conservative review score, he's always right at the top. And he's not the top. If he's not 100%, he's like 95, 97. Yeah, very good. So, I hope I can help this candidate out once, but, I wanted to talk with them at the picnic, but they were just really, really busy. But, yeah. So I want to help them out, but they really missed a golden opportunity today. And I hope in the future they remember James 5:12. They're religious like me, so let your yes be yes and your no be no. If it says you're going to have a door knocking day at 10 o'clock, please, and I RSVP'd your event, please try and be there, and let's have a good level of communication. Okay, that's enough rain on that. Let's see. I'm going to talk to you about what happened at the party meeting, which is back on Wednesday, right after Labor Day this month. Basically, it was a statewide judicial candidate forum. And one thing I noticed as I was at the forum was that the meeting, the first, I think it was Monday in August, was very well attended. Okay, I mean, they had to put out chairs. It was standing room only. I was very happy to see this. For August, this was very impressive turnout. Unfortunately for the meeting a couple weeks ago, attendance was half of what it is. And, before I bash people too bad, maybe that was an issue with it was Wednesday night, and here in the South, in the Bible Belt, a lot of people go to church on Sunday. A lot of people go to church also on Wednesday. And maybe that was the issue, but I just think for being that these statewide judicial races are so hotly contested, I mean, we have two races where we actually have two Republicans running for one seat against one Democrat. And there's that concern that there's going to be the Republicans are going to split the vote, and the Democrats going to cruise to victory. And I just think that I just wish attendance was better a couple weeks ago. I was really shocked and dismayed by the poor attendance, and hopefully the next meeting in the Guilford GOP, I'll say this early right now, is Monday, October 1st. The meeting starts promptly at 7 p.m., okay, but the doors open at 6:30, so please give yourself a little extra time, come early, meet and greet people, and as an introvert, I try and do that. It's hard, but I try. What am I going to say now? At the picnic this afternoon, nobody knew the name of the Republican going up against Barbara Jackson, so I was also a little bit like, come on, people! It's September 22nd. We have a month and 6 weeks. Okay, it sounds like a lot of time, but this time of year, the time just flies right by. But nobody knew that Chris Anglin was the person running for the fake Republican against Barbara Jackson in that race. So we need to rally. Okay, please. I was very pleased. I thought Selena did a good job putting me to work today, making the robocalls and getting me hooked up with the app so I can go door to door in my own neighborhood precinct. It's cool. Okay. The Judicial Forum. Let's see. Chairman Lawson, Troy Lawson, started off the meeting by saying, Barbara Jackson must get her reelected. If we lose that seat, if it goes to Chris Anglin or Anita Earls, the loss would swing the court to the left. Like right now, it's 4-3. I think the Democrats have 4-3 edge, but if we lose this seat, this will be like 5-2 Democrat edge. So it would be like, ugh. Yeah. And if you follow North Carolina politics at all, you know that Roy Cooper, a.k.a. the Cooper Pooper, he's out there. He never wants to work with the Republicans. It's all about, how many times can I file a lawsuit against the Republicans? How many times can I go to court with the Republican legislature? So our first candidate that day was a man by the name of Chuck Kitchen, who's running for the North Carolina Court of Appeals. And he is from the town of Holly Ridge, and he has worked in their government there for a number of years. And he serves in an organization called OWASA. 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 Yeah, I was doing a parody right there of the Mufasa from Lion King. Mufasa, Mufasa, Mufasa. Remember the hyenas were doing that? Mufasa. OWASA. Okay. Which stands for the Onslow County Soil and Water Association. And if you ever travel up U.S. Highway 17 north from Hampstead up, once you're within 5-10 miles of Jacksonville, North Carolina, you'll see a big, huge water tower. And it says OWASA on it. OWASA. Mr. Kitchen is running for the seat of Rick Elmore, who is an incumbent Republican judge. And the reason why Rick Elmore's seat is being replaced is because he's at that, there's a 72-year-old age limit to serve on the North Carolina Court of Appeals. Let me say, can you imagine if we had the same age limit on the federal Supreme Court? I mean, let's see. You would have, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, gone. Stephen Breyer, gone. Who else? Well, Sotomayor and Kagan, they're about early 60s, so they still be on there. But you would be talking about a Supreme Court that would be 7-2 or 6-3 in favor of the conservatism. It'd be great, wouldn't it? Go Trump. Confirm Kavanaugh, right? Mr. Kitchen, he has 38 years of legal experience, so he's been in the legal field longer than I've been alive. So, hey, the older you get, the wiser you get. Remember that. I know that sometimes in my job as a cashier, I get some of the meanest, grumpiest old people. But I always try and tell myself that there'll be some really nice old people come with the line. I always say, the older you are, the wiser you get, right? So don't be afraid of getting old, The best is yet to come. Especially for me, because I'm single, right? And Mr. Kitchen also says that there's a libertarian in his race, and this particular libertarian candidate has not practiced law in 3 years. Woo. And basically, the Libertarian candidate has said, I want to get the vote of GOPers. I'm like, give me a break. Mr. Kitchen's opponent is a lady by the name of Allegra Collins. Her campaign is being bankrolled by a super PAC out of California called One Vote at a Time, and it is also a very anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment super PAC. Mr. Kitchen also mentioned that in the 1930s, the NC Supreme Court, North Carolina Supreme Court, reaffirmed the Second Amendment as constitutional. Next on that evening was Jefferson Griffith, something like that. He was a district court judge appointed, by Pat McCrory. Hamburger came up to say hello. He was endorsed by the NC GOP Executive Committee overwhelmingly. I think it was like 75-25 in his favor. Let's see. He practices under Judge Wynn from the... Oh, no. Wait, what was I saying? Okay. Judge Wynn, who was on the federal court, used to be in the NC Court of Appeals. He's Judge Wynn, a Democrat. So Mr. Jefferson said that's how these judicial races are important. Mr. Jefferson, as a prosecutor in a private practice in Lenore County, out the mid-east part of the state, I think of Goldsboro area. Kinston, that's it. So he has that rural urban experience. And then we have Andrew Heath, who unfortunately, he's a really dear friend of mine. But unfortunately, he just had a calendar conflict. He double booked an event. Happens a lot. Yeah, I forgive him. But he did a good video. It was about 2 minutes long. And he basically said, look, I'm going to follow the rule of law and the Constitution. I say to him, amen, brother. Amen. Go, Drew, go. Mr. Heath was also the state budget director under former Governor Pat McCrory. And in that budget, he lowered taxes and raised teacher pay. And now we have the the wonderful, eloquent incumbent Justice Barbara Jackson. She served on the Court of Appeals for 6 years and has 14 years of experience in law. She used to serve on the NC Department of Labor, which is run by Republican Sherry Berry. And that's the picture of the cute picture of the lady. If you're ever in any hotel in the state of North Carolina, on any elevator, you will see Sherry Berry's smiling, beautiful face. Mrs. Jackson also served in the Jim Martin administration. That was from sometime cancel instabilities. Martin was governor, I believe, from 88 to 92, somewhere in that. Might have been 84 to 92, somewhere in there. And basically, Mrs. Jackson said that there currently is a 10-5 Republican advantage on the Court of Appeals. However, she said 3 are up for re-election, and there's a move that the court go from 15 seats down to 12 seats. And that has happened currently. Bob Hunter is leaving, and then who's Republican, then Judge McGee, who was a Democrat, is leaving. She mentioned Anita Earls. All you need to know about Anita Earls is, besides her, she's dangerous. She's a social justice warrior. And as far as language that I absolutely hate and am terrified of are the words social justice. Social justice warrior. Scary. And then she talked about Chris Anglin. Boy, this guy's... He was registered as unaffiliated in Florida and then moved to North Carolina, I don't know, a couple years ago or so. Registered as a Democrat, okay? And he only votes every 4 years in the presidential election. And he's never been a registered Republican until he registered like 2 weeks before the filing deadline for the as a judicial candidate. He's also my age, 32 years old, only 7 years out of law school, absolutely no judicial experience, has absolutely no business being on the court. None. Okay? You know, as somebody, you know, he has a law school degree, so maybe go be manager, Target, or Harris Teeter or something, you know, but the law, ugh, okay. But Barbara Jackson is all about following the Constitution. And she mentioned that Anita Earls talked about the Pennsylvania redistricting case, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's where, of course, every 10 years, depending on how the state is set up, some states use an independent redistricting commission, which I am 100% in favor of, because you get these state legislatures, both parties involved, and it's always, you know, one party or the other, they push, they try and gerrymander, they try and cheat and get however many seats they possibly can. It's totally unfair and unprofessional to the average voter. But she said that the Constitution, Anita Earls said the following, the Constitution can be used for states' rights, not the courts. A very disturbing statement if you are a conservative or a Republican. Very disturbing. And she said the Constitution is a means to a political ends, another terrible statement. Barbara Jackson, basically, Barbara Jackson is all about following the law, not making the law. I agree. Judges, you know, should not be legislatures. Is a good way to wrap that. John Crider, who's running judge for Guilford County, he's an attorney, was a public defender, and a managing attorney. He's been called a legal elite by an NC Business magazine. Was an appointee of Governor Pat McCrory back in 2015. He says this is the first election with party affiliation, and he says he needs to flip 10% of the vote in Guilford County and tell people to finish the ballot. He also says that he mentioned a couple other good judges to vote for, even though they're Democrats. He says vote for Laura Cuppage and Bill Wood. Now, I want to say this. Crider mentioned a couple of judicial candidates. We also have like 9 people running for the Soil and Water Board here in Guilford County. Both of these races they do not have the party affiliation of the candidate. So, what I'm going to do is, and what I'm looking forward to doing, and if you know me personally, you know that I'm a nice guy, but man, I am a pariah when it comes to these primary elections. I will vet and chew on the candidates like a juicy, tender steak. Okay, you know, I would just devour them and look at every single any information I get on the candidates. And I'm always one of the last to endorse the candidates you ever notice. Okay, I just take my sweet time, and I love primary elections, but I especially love non-partisan general elections, because you can vote and endorse for whoever you want and not get in trouble for it. It's amazing. Beautiful. But Mr. Crider is running against Larry Archie, and he has a billboard somewhere in Greensboro here that says, this is hilarious. Just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Gosh. The Democratic Party, oh my gosh. They have just really, really crapped the bed, haven't they? Poor JFK. And Harry Truman, to a lesser extent. Kennedy, good. Truman, but both of them are probably just up there in the heavens, just, you know, shaking their heads. And, oh my gosh, what has the Democratic Party become? And then we wrap up the Judicial Forum with a Q&A. I didn't actually write the questions down, the answers. I took some notes and hit the highlights. Barbara Jackson basically said people need to know the party affiliation of judges, and also Jefferson Griffin. He said this is the first time in 20 years that that there's going to be party affiliation on the Supreme Court race. And he said in 2016, the Court of Appeals had a lot more votes in favor of Republicans. The Court of Appeals had more votes than the Bob Edmonds race, who unfortunately lost. We lost a seat on the Supreme Court. And then we have Mark Ridgel, who's a candidate for school board at large in Guilford County. And what I really like about this guy, he has 29 years of experience as an investigator. And you all probably know, unless you've been really living under a rock, you know that there's been so much school violence lately. It's just absolutely horrible what's happening in our public schools, even private schools and charter schools, any kind of school or university. Terrible violence. Okay. And Mark Ridgel says that there was like 79 police calls at Grimsley High School in Greensboro over a 4-month period. Yeah, think about it. I mean, that's like at least one call a day. Because the kids, they're off on weekends and they have some holidays thrown in. Yeah, that's crazy. And he says that the school board is covering up the fact there's too much violence in Guilford County public schools. And I just want to tell Mark Ridgel, haven't met the guy yet, but man, this guy looks awesome. Great. I mean, he's, hopefully he'll get on the school board and he'll be a bulldog and really, what's the word I'm looking for? He'll be a great leader. He'll be a fearless leader, and at times he'll know when to kick butt, and he'll know time, and there'll be times when he'll, keep his mouth shut. But hopefully he'll be kicking butt more than shutting his mouth. And who knows, maybe he'll run for higher office someday, because Mark Ridgel definitely looks very promising, I have to tell you. So, that is all. And the meeting, we talked about some fundraising things that I know the party needs money, but in my opinion, fundraising's kind of a 4-letter word. I know the party needs money, but I'm just like, that's not my cup of tea. I'm more about informing people of what's going on, and, knocking on doors, making phone calls, and yeah. If I ever run for chairman of the party, district or state, maybe, all of them serve in that order, I want to make sure my vice chair is like 100% in the fundraiser, because I'm not. That's just not my thing. So, anyway, that concludes our look at the Guilford County GOP for September of 2018. And I will tell you that for the Conservative Pelican, my name is Bobby Crawford. Thank you so much for watching.